What stuck out to you from that game, particularly on the defensive side of things?
We skated well. I think that was the foundation of our ability to defend. We skated well and we stayed fairly close together.
On the right side, second row.
Matthew Tkachuk was just saying that it was essentially 50-50 for him to play to start the playoffs.
Yeah.
How have you seen him progress physically through these playoffs, and what does he mean to this team?
It was. He played about 12 minutes the first night and played him because he played a game with a broken collarbone and figured out how to get through the game. I think he had our 3 best chances to score that night against Vegas. So he could adapt his game very well, and we knew he wasn't at 100% or close to it, actually. And then I think the last 3 games he's played have been the best of the playoffs by far. So he's back. He got to a block that he was probably in the Toronto series, late Toronto, early Carolina, that he had come to full health, but there's still the mental part about what you can, how far do you want to stress that, taking hits, giving hits, and things like that. And then as this series, he's back to full health. And when that happens, you've seen that line then become a very good line on both sides of the puck. They were producing great numbers at the start, but loose isn't the right word, but they weren't able to defend as well as they can now.
Back left.
Paul, you knew going to training camp you'd be defending a championship. What have you learned, or what's been different than what you expected about what it'd be like to try to defend it than what you maybe expected first day of training camp?
I don't think the playoffs are any different, right? I think everybody's really excited. It was a challenge this year trying to understand. You come in with a terrible perspective because when we won last year, the narrative, I'm not talking about your narrative, the general narrative is that you won all 16 playoff games, you won 82 regular season games. It was just brilliant. Everything was perfect. So, and then the emotion, that energy level, you don't have that kind of drive of chasing something. And you also played a whole bunch of hockey. So are they trying to figure out the days, maybe a better way to put it, we could probably, all of us who work in this game, can look at the NHL schedule when it comes out and figure out when your team's going to be good, all of that, and you know what. And then this year happened, and we had, we went to Finland. Last exhibition game was in Quebec City. We were still on the party tour for the first little while, just things that we had to deal with, ring ceremonies, stuff like that. So trying to figure out. Then we played 3 games at the end of November. We played Toronto at home after we had lost 6 of 7 games. We played Toronto at home, then went back to back with Carolina, and we won all 3 of the games, and we looked right. And that was kind of when we said, all right, we're okay here. We just have to manage this a little bit.
But, this is 3 years. The reality is, and a lot of these guys have played 300-plus games. I mean, how have they done it physically, mentally, emotionally? I mean, we know they're great players.
Yeah, I felt when we came into the playoffs, it was like right back to any of the other year. Like we weren't. We had Matthew was the only question mark in terms of health. We were healthy. We weren't like for 4 weeks before, but we got healthy at the right time. And there was this great sense of excitement that came back that we didn't feel all year. They're a very, very fit group. And we've got good depth.
Left side, first row.
What kind of comfort level do you have in your lineup?
None.
Huh?
What?
Comfort level
yeah,
in your
every day's-
lineup.
Oh.
Where you don't have to, you're not changing anything. You're just, do you feel extremely comfortable with the guys you've got out there every night?
But it's all health-based, right? Like we're a pretty healthy team, fortunately, at this point. And we've got good players. And having been, there's a real advantage at times for your injuries that happen during the year because it forces you to play people. So there wouldn't be a substitution that we would make now that would be a change for our group where how's this going to impact it? If Boquist were to come in and play on any one of the lines, he's already done it, right? So they've through injuries and travel and all the things, and you get into stretches where the chemistry's off, so you fool around with the lines. The fact that these guys have been together, the core of them, for 3 years, there isn't an adjustment that we would make in our lineup that would change the room.
We'll take a few more for Coach, left side, second row.
How would you describe the emotions going into Game 4 last year, your first chance to close it out? And I think you guys had a plane full of family and friends. And what did you learn from that you can change?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that we had never before. part of it is, how do you handle families on an elimination game? Because it's a pretty normal thing for a team that's in the elimination game setting. They bring families in, but this is the first time we had ever done that. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you have to go through the first time, and then there's all these superstitions. You don't want to talk about it. Do you want to talk about it? Well, there's things you have to talk about, and then you're putting the cart before the horse. Like, all of that stuff kind of got dealt with that last year. We went through it for the first time. And now, just getting ready for the hockey game. It's a different set of emotions for us.
Left side, second row.
Paul, in the times when you've not been able to close out an opponent in a series, Carolina, Toronto, and then obviously the Oilers last year, are there any common themes that you've seen in those games?
I don't think so. I think if you don't have the ability, you're not here. So we figured out a way to end the series. They're good teams. Like, I think what it is, well, we finished 13th. Edmonton finished 11th. So there's an idea then that, hey, you don't have to finish first, right, to get here. Okay, but that's not I think the most important idea is there's 16 good teams, right? So you've played well and you've put yourself in a position to eliminate the other team. Well, it's not guaranteed because the other team's pretty darn good. So there's nothing learned where you'd say, okay, now we've figured it out. Because if you figure that out, you'd win next year, you'd win 16 straight, right? It doesn't work like that.
Left side, first row.
Hey, Paul, how much has having these quick starts to the games, multiple goals in the first period of every game in this series, allowed you as a coach to kind of allow your group to dictate the tempo of the game and play Florida brand of hockey?
I think it's been the great challenge, actually, because we've had leads in games and we've had them evaporate. I mean, they are built to attack. And when the pressure comes off a team, and that pressure, you get up a couple of goals on the other team, their risk profile changes. Well, that's the most dangerous team in the National Hockey League when the risk profile changes. For us, the second one would be the Tampa Bay Lightning. When they're down a goal or two, they are incredibly hard to handle. And it's in the style of game that they're very, very good at. So there's just been more time where we're playing them at their best, like the attacks, the goaltending. I know what the numbers are. I get all of it, but the number of really, really good saves that happen in each game, I think we have the lead there at their best.
We'll take two more questions. Left side, second row.
Paul, I know the old cliche is backs against the wall, the Oilers are, but what's it like playing the best player in the world who's so desperate to win a Stanley Cup, Connor McDavid?
Yeah, I don't think anybody saves it for the elimination game, right? Like I think there's a certain freedom that comes into a Game 7 concept, whether it's Game 5, 6, or 7. And that freedom allows them to start the game kind of with that attack mindset. And that will make them very dangerous right from the start.
Last question, standing up on the left side.
Paul, you've been through this 3 times now, and there's a lot of hidden people in this run, and one of them is always the third-string goalie who kind of takes a beating the whole playoffs, gets guys ready, and for a year and a half now, it's been Evan Cormier. I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about the importance of those guys, and particularly Evan.
Well, the answer to that is in the room at the end of the game. So it happens to be the VTech gets the game puck. Last year, Yona Gadjevich didn't play a game for us. He got a game puck. So they are all an incredible part of it, right? They're in their playing cards. There's no stratification in our room based on how many playoff games that you've played. These guys, it's just them all the time. So when he made an incredible save today, the guys are banging the boards, they're chirping, they're having a good time. I expect, based on how I watch them move around each other, they feel like a really important part of it because they are. They're all the pieces that go into it. Everybody's got a job, and we all have to do just that. So I like the way these men interact with each other because I think it's really makes them feel a part of it, and that then brings out the best of their personality. So we get to see them, if they're funny or whatever it is that they do, that we get to see their personalities.